Seraphim17 once again. This is my Bloodborne walkthrough. This is the second video. We're going to be taking on the Cleric Beast and Father Gascoigne, two of the first few bosses of the game, and two of the most intimidating bosses in the game, if you ask me. We've done a little bit of preparation here. I'm not going to show you all of it because this is a walkthrough and a lot of this is entirely up to you. Something worth noting, which I didn't mention, this is all recorded before a very big patch that happened to this game and changed a hell of a lot of the functionality of it. If you're wondering why any of the most recent changes isn't implemented in these videos, it's because they didn't exist at the time of recording. I recorded this about 3 weeks after the game was out.
This town is cursed. Whatever your reasons might be, you should plan a swift exit. Whatever can be gained from this place, it will do more harm than good. Yarnum has a special way of treating guests. The hunt is on tonight.
So, the order in which you choose to tackle these bosses is entirely up to you. You do not have to kill the Cleric Beast. However, if you do so, you will get a badge that enables you to buy the Cleric Hammer, and you'll also get the ability to buy something that allows you to open a shortcut up in an area coming quite soon. So, it's well worth doing. He's also the promotional boss that a lot of the early footage was showing, so it's well worth checking him out. However, I do think, because of how big he is, because of how his hitbox works, and because of the geometry, the way you fight him, I think this fight is much more tricky than it needs to be. However, the strategy I'm about to show you is incredibly powerful and very easy to do. So there is his standard overhead attack. If you run in there, you can hit him in the face and get a critical on that face, or you can shoot it like that. When you shoot it like that, you are able then to hit him once with an R2. You can charge it a decent amount if you want to, and then immediately cancel the animation with an R1 to go into a visceral attack. Once you've done that, use your oil, use your molotovs, and just watch to see what the boss does. There are several phases to this fight depending on his HP values, and if you ever see him do an animation where he's covered in kind of trailing vespers like that of red or pink mist, it means he's healing his body. And when he heals his body, it means it can be damaged again. Because at that moment before, any body part you damage will receive extra damage from you. There was a charge R2, there was a riposte from the visceral attack. Can get an extra one hit there if you choose to, but I don't. I throw a Molotov, here comes a jump attack. Here's another Molotov, and here's another jump attack. Apparently that was a poorly timed evade. I'll believe it. There is his sequence of hits and his overhead, and there's me getting rid of him with the final amount of cocktails. You do not have to fight him like that, guys. If you think that that is in any way cheap, you're entitled to that opinion, but this is a walkthrough to help players of all skill levels destroy bosses, and that destroys the Cleric Beast. If you're interested in a little bit more of a challenge, feel free to check out my Seraphic trial video, where you have to beat that boss under some very strict guidelines, and it will definitely test whether or not you are capable of playing a very patient and very high level of Bloodborne play. But this is not that, so back to the Hunter's Dream. You'll notice I now have 5 insight, having killed the boss. I'm going to come here and continue to pump my strength, because at this point I was going to just straight up do a raw strength build using the Cleric Hammer. I was not decided on what I wanted. The Cleric Hammer and the other greatsword, which I can never remember the name of because I choose to never use it, are two of the most powerful weapons in the game. They are incredibly good, and I literally cannot say anything that would convince you not to use them, other than maybe diversity's sake. But if you're just looking for raw strength and raw effectiveness and utility, those two weapons will carry you through this entire game. They're really, really good. The Hunter's Minion here, he can drop Blood Vials, he can also drop Shining Coins. The drop percentages are all stated in the official walkthrough. In some of the future episodes where the videos have got some downtime in them, I'm going to go through some of the drop rates and explain some information from the walkthrough, because I think it is a very great tool to help any Bloodborne player get a little bit better and a little bit more understanding of the game. But we're going to rush back over here and take out Father Gascoigne. So a trick that Souls fans have been doing for a very long time, whenever there's a run back that's potentially in the future, is if you trip the floor plate as you exit, it will put the lift back up to where it came from, so if you do die, you don't have to wait for it to come back up. This bridge here is a trap, but it's one of those traps that is very easy to circumvent once you know it's there. And the people who were unaware of the music box are probably wondering why I have it equipped. Well, we have it equipped for Father Gascoigne. It's going to stun him and enable us to land a very powerful visceral attack. So, as soon as you begin the fight, Father Gascoigne is going to be incredibly aggressive. This is one of those bosses where he's probably going to kill you a bunch of times on your first few encounters with him, because you haven't fought anybody who is this violent against you. But after you land a visceral attack, use the tiny music box. By the time he gets up, charge a charge attack to stun him, and then visceral attack him afterwards. Of course, sometimes the detection isn't with you, or maybe your positioning's a little off and it won't work, but you still do decent damage, so it's not too bad. The second phase of the fight begins when he straightens out his axe into the two-handed version. Land the visceral attack, use the music box, get behind him, be careful of his stinger, and then punish him. And know that after this, he's going to transform, and this is when the fight gets a hell of a lot more difficult. So you want to get a little distance here. You can attack him while he's transforming, but it will knock you back as well. I go to try and get him with a cheeky hit. It didn't work, but he has his back to me, so I can easily finish him off. It looked simple, didn't it, guys? But it's not. I've killed that boss many times. I fought him many times, and he's killed me many times too. Bloodborne is a game where you will get so much more from it the more you put in. And nobody's going to do that on their first attempt unless they're incredibly fortunate. So if that boss is killing you, don't let it dishearten you. Just keep on practicing, keep on running through, and just learn to understand how effective the interrupts and the visceral attacks are, and just how truly great the tiny music box is at completely disarming him and letting you get some big damage. Anybody who wanted to see me knock him off the bridge, I don't think you can do that anymore. They patched it out of the game, which I think is really disappointing because it was amazing and hilarious. If you're curious to see that, there is a video on my channel of it. It is a one-hit kill on Father Gascoigne. Hilarious stuff, but once again, they did remove it. But all that's left now is to finish traversing our way up into Erden Chapel and getting our way into Cathedral Ward. So come over here to the chest, pick up this precious resource, which will make itself a little bit more known later on when we start actually getting things to use it with. And thank you very much for watching. You take care now.